because of the way it's turned, there's a green light over here, there's a red light over here. The green light will always be on unless it's in a low water condition.
Okay.
And
So if I see red, call you.
Well, if you see red here, this
It'll
is going to be red too.
Okay.
This will be flashing and it'll say low water cutoff.
Sweet.
Low water. So the boiler pretty much takes care of itself.
Right. And water comes in here.
Water feeds the system. It goes through this device. This is the backflow preventer.
Yep.
The city shuts your water off.
We won't drain out.
It won't. There's 12 pounds of pressure on this system, 12 to 15 pounds. This prevents that water from backing up into your drinking water. So it's a double check valve in there. This is a pressure reducing valve. It takes the house or the city pressure of 70, 80 pounds and reduces it down to, I've got to set it about 15 pounds. It comes in here and that feeds the system. So the job of this really is initial fill and maintain pressure on the system.
Okay.
This is the low water cutoff, as I said. This is the combination gauge. It tells you what the temperature, current temperature coming out of the boiler is, and also tells you what the pressure is. And it's right now it's at 20. Now I was playing with this with the pressure setting. I'll drop that down a little bit.
Water's going in here.
Well, water feeds the system, but right now there's no water feeding it. It just maintains the pressure on the system.
So the hot water tank, is that just coils?
Yes.
Okay, so this is not actually physically heating the
Same
water.
No. There is a coil
Full of dirty water.
inside, right. These two go to the coil that's inside of there, and that coil is surrounded by your drinking water.
My fresh water.
Right.
That then gets served up to the tub or
so
kitchen
there's a heat
sink.
exchanger in there.
Ah,
So your fresh water is not going through this boiler at all.
got it. Okay.
So the boiler's only for the heating system.
Well, the energy to heat that
Yeah, it's closed.
is coming from the boiler.
Okay.
If you shut the boiler off, you only have hot water until that
Yeah.
is depleted.
Yeah, it's a closed system though.
Yes.
Got it.
Yep. Pressure relief valve.
Yeah.
Pressure relief valve. This is the item that you're likely to see something happening in maybe 3-4 years generally. What happens when you heat water, water expands. And in order to expand in a closed system, all eyes over here, we have an expansion tank. There's a rubber bladder in here. The lower portion is air, upper portion is boiler water. So when the water expands, it has a cushion of air to push against. Warranty on these tanks is 5 years. I've seen them last for 15, seen them last for 3. What happens, the bladder develops a pinhole or something for one reason or another. The bottom air chamber fills with water. So now there's no place for that cushion of air. When that water expands, it builds pressure in the boiler up to 30 pounds, and this will start to drip. So when it starts to drip, then we know that something's happened. Either our reducing valve has gone bad and it keeps feeding pressure to the system, or the tanks, and 99% of the time it's the tank issue.
Yep.
And that's not a big deal to change. It's about a $45 item, and we just shut the valve off up above, take the tank off, and put a new
Do you
one on.
automatically change that out at 5 years, or do you just
No,
wait for it?
there's no point in charging if it's not bad. If it's not broken, don't fix it.
And when it breaks, it doesn't break badly?
Well, not badly, and it's not an emergency situation generally. You can stick a bucket under there and it can go
Okay.
2-3 weeks. But at the same time, sometimes you'll hear the boiler might start to bang and hiss a little bit.
Okay.
So as the water comes down and makes this path, this circulator is for your domestic hot water.
Okay.
The domestic hot water system takes priority over the heating system. So when there's a call to regenerate that tank, this circulator shuts off because its job is to basically go through the boiler and inject water into our heating loop. So it shuts off and this turns on, and so our flow of water is through the heat exchanger, and the water heater comes back, goes through the boiler, and back to the water heater. And that also bypasses the outdoor reset controls. So it will jump up, I've got it set at 160 degrees temperature hot water.
Does that mean my hot water is 160
No,
degrees?
your hot water is 120.
Okay.
If you want it warmer, I can by code, when I leave here, it's 120.
Yeah, I don't like it hotter. Actually, I would almost even turn it down a little bit.
Okay.
But
It's fine.
So that's basically here. These are labeled. These go to the water heater. Make sure that's not Steve where I sent him that. That's Jake. So
circulator for the heat system in general.
right, this injects. This is the primary circulator. This is called a primary secondary loop. This is our primary loop
Yep.
through the boiler. Secondary loop goes
And
out
then
to
they
the-
have their own
the
pumps.
distribution. Right,
Okay.
right,
And then that's the hot water.
right.
Got it. But it's all running the same dirty water, just directing it different ways
That's right.
depending on what it's calling for.
Yep.
Heat shuts down the
No longer injects into this loop.
it puts priority
Yeah,
all into
although
this.
these will keep running,
Mm-hmm.
they're, because these T's are so close together, water takes the path of least resistance, which is to go right by.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
If there's no reason you should ever have to shut this off. If you smell gas, call a gas company.
Yeah.
Don't call me, call them
Okay.
first.
We already had to once.
Yeah, well, I forgot why that was.
They had two.
Oh, there was a leak at the meter
Yeah, big one.
on their side.
Two O-rings jammed into where there should have been one, so neither were working.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I pressure tested everything on my side.
Yeah.
when
Guy
they-
goes. Oh, I'm glad you called. Jeez.
Wow. Shouldn't have to touch this at all. This boiler efficiency kind of changes throughout the year, depending on the time of year. And when it's running most efficiently, it creates condensate.
Mm-hmm.
There's vapor, water vapor in just in the air that it uses for combustion. It just isn't any different than coming out of your exhaust pipe. The only reason you see it is because there's water vapor. It's not black smoke. There's black smoke to get serviced. And in doing that, it comes out here, drains into this pump.
Mm-hmm.
This pump, when it gets full, kicks on.
Mm-hmm.
And even when this drains in there, it kicks on. Pumps it up through here and pumps it into your main sewer line. Again, nothing really to do with that. There are some tablets that you can get that you can drop in there once a month or so. It's kind of like an Alka-Seltzer type tablet. It helps neutralizes, because the condensate is somewhat acidic, and it just helps prolong the life of the pump.
Okay. All right, let me put you on pause now.
Sure.
So we're done with the main
We're done with the
boiler
main,
and
yeah.
the primary
Primary loop.
loop, which is either heat or hot water.
Right.